La 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 la. Nigga, nigga, nigga. Nope, too much OST. Too much OST. All right, nigga. Baututuan un rato dispensadzo. Too much OST. Esto este. No, it does not appear to be working on Instagram. Nope, the live stream is not working on Instagram today. Ay, wanna be Tagwini. All right. Now dispense up. Right. Half a day. Buenas todos hamzu. Buena hudzong. Inan husi Michaeluhan Vavakwad and Estigio Nuevo na episode Fanachu. We are here once again with another episode of the Fanachu podcast. I am your host, and today for Fanachu, we are looking back, but we are also looking ahead to this Friday. This Friday, Independent Guåhan invites everyone to, or everyone going to Guåhan to, Nalatla Freedom Fest, Songs of Freedom. Nalatla Freedom Fest, this is a free, family-friendly event from this Friday, July 4th, 3 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at The Lime, which is Gidza Anigua, Gidza Hagatnya. And so this will be Independent Guåhan's first sort of large concert in quite a few years. And so please come down. Please come down and join if you are interested in listening to some wonderful musical acts, if you are interested in connecting with some great local vendors, if you want to hear some great poets, and if you also want to pick up some important knowledge, some critical knowledge about the future of our island, and also, of course, why we should change our political status. And so, estigimas pudi information. Nalatla Freedom Fest, the Lime venue, all right? And then Igua by Mark's General Merchandise, all right? Starts around 3:30. Remember, debat DST, family friendly as well. Sinyo and Koni Famagun, Sinyo and Koni Familia, Sina Nomu, anyone, right? And open to just about everybody. Here is a look at some of the performances. This concert will have performances by some great artists, Kifino Ingles, Kifino Chamorro, cha-cha music, but also some DJs, some hip hop music, also some theatrical performances. Breaking Wave Theater Company is right here. You know, all sorts of great musical acts, but also poets. See Ediak Fadzi, Sabedo Lalia, Nicole Quintanilla. We'll also have live art as well. And then a quick look at some of the vendors that will also be there. Goats and Giggles, hafeleku, family friendly. Maulek esti bonito esti na pari familia, pari famagon. Goats and Giggles, that is a must. Zaniha idos na mas patgon hu hungen gov zaniha esti Goats and Giggles. But also, oh yeah, I'll be there for the Guambas, Tot Island, Fanamutan. Great stuff. Great stuff will be there. Great stuff will be there. Arts and crafts, but also information. Micronesian Climate Change Alliance will have a table there. The Guam Commission on Decolonization will also be there. Put all of this out there. July 4th, this Friday, Nalatla Songs of Freedom. Nihita Fandanya Nai, Nihita Fandanya. Let us all come together. Now, for some people, they might wonder, having a decolonization-focused concert on July 4th, Independence Day. Is this contradictory? Is this disrespectful? Is this anti-American? Logi mo na kayo, na punto. But that, in a way, is the point. That, in a way, is the purpose of this. And por favor, ang Guåhan question mo, if you have any questions, please put them into the chat. I'm Guåhan Han Solo Malolo na para este episode, but I'll do my best to answer any questions that you might have. But the focus for today's Fanachu episode is, of course, to talk about the concert that is happening Guini Giestina Simana, but also to talk about where the Nalatla concert series comes from, and also just to reflect on the Nalatla concert series from the past, to share some of the artists that have been there, some of the music, and just to recall, right? A lot of times when people join the decolonization conversation, they think that it has just started, or nuevo, it is fresco. It's just, it must just be this new thing. It's just starting right now. But it's been going on for a very long time at this point. So it's always important to connect one generation of that conversation to the next. And so in a way, that's what we're doing here, is that the Nalatla concert, why did it start? What does it build off of? Why are we keeping it going? And so let's take a look back. Let's take a look back in time. And some of you might recall, all right, Nanga hua atenestisia, got this right here, investigate. Independent Guåhan started in 2016. But in 2017 is when we really began to organize larger community events. We started off with kind of community forums, small family-focused kind of peer conversations around decolonization. But in 2017, because there was a lot of things happening around the military buildup, around things like the Davis case, we started holding larger activities, protests, joining forces with other groups that were out there. And one of the things that we did, of course, at that time was that we helped organize the Respect the Chamorro People rally in April of 2017. And this was held at the front field of Adelup in Hagatnya, and hundreds of people over the course of a few hours attended this. And the Respect the Chamorro People rally came about because of the Davis case. If you're not familiar with the Davis case was a challenge brought about by a white man who has lived in Guam, who had lived in Guam for a very long time, named Dave Davis. He was a retired veteran in the U.S. military, who, because of a law which created a plebiscite for Native inhabitants around a non-voting decolonization plebiscite, where people who had been part of a historical community that had been prevented from expressing what they wanted for their political future, that they would be allowed in a non-binding way to express what they wanted. He felt that infringed on his rights. He felt that violated his constitutional rights. He sued and he won, and the Ninth Circuit Court affirmed his win. And so the Respect the Chamorro People rally was carried out to kind of show support that the Chamorro people deserve to be, respected. The Chamorro people deserve to be respected in our own home. We deserve to have this right of self-determination, and that the Davis case was an affront to this idea. The Davis case was part of this long history of erasing the Chamorro people in their own home, whether it be erasing their connection to the land, erasing their rights to the land, erasing their language, erasing their culture, erasing their very existence. What Dave Davis had done with his case and what the courts had affirmed was part of that history. And at a minimum, as indigenous people in the land, the Chamorro people deserve the right to be respected in their own land. And so as you can see, hundreds of people came out for a simple sort of act of solidarity, show support that the Chamorro people deserve to be respected. And it was a big, some people performed, some people made some speeches, some people made some speeches that day. And the choice of the front field at Adelup was an important symbolic one. For those of you who are not as familiar with Guam's history of political activism or decolonization activism, Chamorro rights activism, stuff like that, you might think of the front field of Adelup as being about soccer practice or stuff like that. Because, but for those who know about that history, it was the site of two important protests. Uh, camp the group Nashon Chamorro camped at the front field of Adelup twice in order to compel the implementation and the seating of members of the Chamorro Land Trust Commission in the 1990s. And so it was a very in the history of Chamorro activism, it played an important role. And so it is where the local government is seated. It has this important sort of value there. And so it was decided that this would be a great place for that. And so, you know, the Respect the Chamorro People rally, a group of volunteers for Independent Guåhan, it was very successful. And it was decided that even though we were just a group of volunteers who received for our educational campaign, we needed to continue to create a public space that it would be good to have community meetings. By that time, we were having what are called general assemblies, monthly meetings in which people could come and learn about topics. But there was also a need to have a more public space and, more importantly, a more creative space, a more expressive space where people could connect around the ideas that we wanted, but it wasn't something about a lecture, it wasn't something about just a forum, but it could also be about art, poetry, and culture in a different way, that we needed to also offer more spaces like that. And so it was with that in mind that later that year, that same year in 2017, we had Nalatla, Songs of Freedom, the first Nalatla concert. And so nanga kung internet dispensa dyan. Ah, naga. And so now, mientras tananga, while we were waiting for that to load, one of the question sort of that emerges in this though, why the choice of July 4th? What is the rationale? What is the reason why July 4th is chosen for this? July 4th is Independence. July 4th is July in general is a month in which the United States and Guam sort of are reflecting on certain things. And those sort of reflections coalesce in certain ways, in fascinating ways, in fascinating ways. And so when we think about the lie terms and in Guam, one of the things that we might think about, though, is that it is a time in which people are actively talking about history, people are talking about remembering things, but it's also a time. Wait, Also a time. Oh, all right, dispensadyo. Dispensadyo. Malingoy signal para un rock to bueno. So let's take a step back. If we think about, hold on, wait a second. I'm good. Okay. So if we think about the month of July in these terms, it is a month in which there is a heavy emphasis on history, commemoration, and memory. But fascinatingly, interestingly enough, it is also a time in which people also appear to, well, we are talking about remembering, not forgetting, because it is when we start off with commemorating the independence of the United States, right? Thinking about the birth and the origins of the United States. And then it moves ahead in which there are several weeks in which there are World War II memorials, in which you go around the island and there are Meningen memorials. There are masses in different areas around the island for massacres that have taken place in different villages, different sites. And then there is Liberation Day, and there is always this emphasis on talking and learning things and hearing stories and so on. But even while there is this emphasis on remembering and commemorating and so on, for Independent Guåhan and for other groups before us, July was always this difficult, almost contradictory time, because while there would be so much discussion around freedom, liberty, liberation, it would begin with the celebration of the independence of the United States while we remain a territory of the United States, while we remain its colony. And then when Liberation Day happens, while we embrace and we remember and we take care to hear and to keep alive the stories of our families and what they endured in the Japanese occupation, and we talk about liberation, we always, for so many people, they seem to forget that while the island was liberated from Japanese control, it then was returned to American colonial control. And that the true liberation, as in, depending on what you prefer, if it is liberation from colonial status, Guam becoming a full part of the United States, Guam achieving independence, that a real political liberation lies somewhere in the future. And that this time of year in which we talk so much about remembering and reflecting and thinking of the past, that there is so little emphasis on what do we do now? What happens next to us? And it was for this reason that we decided, Independent Guåhan, we decided that we would have July 4th be our first Nalatla concert. And so here are some images. They've loaded now, dispensadyo, sa malingo paron rato na Wi-Fi. And so you can see kind of the setup, and once again, it was similar to the Respect the Chamorro People rally. It was at the front field of Adelup. You can see Hadziastisi Rich Manglotnya singing the Gitalo Giholam Tase, singing the CNMI national anthem at the start. Inet Nungef Pagu performing at the beginning of the event and sort of during as well. PJ San Nicolas, JD in a wave performing. Nicole Quintanilla, who has performed at multiple Nalatla concerts, reading poetry. And then Melvin Wampat Borja, who will be performing again this year. He was rapping and performing at the first Nalatla concert. And then one of the important things for each concert, of course, is that there are materials, educational materials made available for people, so that while they gather to hear music, there is also a chance for them to learn about our current political status, why it should change, and then what do we want next for the island. And then one of the groups that has performed the most at Nalatla over the years is, of course, Trade Winds / Microchild / Andrew Gumatautau. And so here they are performing at the close of the Nalatla concert. And so our first year, we did not know if it would be, something that we do every year. That we had, of course, the idea that we might do it every year. And because it was fun, it was not Zafai Hungan, it was very exhausting too, but it was fun. Hundreds of people came over the hours of the concert. We decided we have to do it again. We have to try to keep it going for the next year as well. And so I wanted to share some, just real quick, because for those first Nalatla concerts, there are live stream videos from them that you can watch. But I wanted to just share, in those days, we didn't. Let me see. Let me share here. I'm going to share this one right here. This was actually a video that, as I said, Microchild, Shannon McManus and John Glazer have been two of the strongest supporters for Independent Guåhan musically. And they have performed at many events for Independent Guåhan. And so this is actually something that they put together that was made by and edited by Manny Cruz, where they covered the times they are changing back in 2017. This was done after the Nalatla concert in preparation for when Independent Guåhan was organizing a delegation to go to the United Nations, the largest delegation of Chamorros and people from Guam that had ever traveled to testify at the United Nations before the Fourth Committee. And so let's check this out now as an example of some of the music and some of the messages that have been shared over the years at the Nalatla concert.
On October 3rd, delegates from Guam will be testifying before the United Nations in New York. Given all of the things that have happened this year, from the Dave Davis case to threats from North Korea and the impending threat to Litexan, it is important now more than ever that we share our stories with the rest of the world. Please, if you can, share this video and donate to our GoFundMe page. The link is in the description. Your support is deeply appreciated.
Come gather round, people, wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around us have grown, and accept it that soon we'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, then you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone, for the times they are a-changing. what you can't understand. Yeah, your sons and your daughters are beyond your command. Oh, your old road is rapidly aging. Please get out of the new one if you can lend a hand for the times they are a bit rumbly there towards the end. Oh, that's okay.
Don't actually play that. Wasn't Boylan's?
Hey, Biba, si just masi Shannon, zen si John, si Juan. Again, in Gefagre sinay microchild put todo ibidaniniha. And so let me share another. And so actually, I want to share another video from another artist that has performed at Nalatla in the past. And so really there's two different phases to the Nalatla concert series. Nalatla prior to 2017, 2018, and 2019, that is Nalatla kind of pre-pandemic. And this is the Nalatla concert series, which happened at Adaloop. In-person concerts happened at Adaloop, at the front field. And so here, I'll just share real fast. Here's some images from the second Nalatla concert. And so for every concert, there's different people that host or are the MCs. This is Eva Uggan Cruz, who was one of the MCs that year. And then always, of course, the Commission on Decolonization has a table there handing out information. At this Friday at the Freedom Fest, Nalatla Freedom Fest, the Commission on Decolonization will have a table too where you can get free information, free handouts, even tote bags too, I believe, if they still have some. And so you can get a sense of people, more people who were there, musicians that were there. Oh, I think that's right. That was the year that the Dolls played as part of the concert. Oh, yes. And so si PJ San Nicolas, si Zun Torre. Oh, yeah, that's right. Si Cara from Nihi, si Cara Flores. And I think they were called the Breakdown Band. I think they're the band that breaks the band that plays while everyone is breaking down the pala pala at the party. And so 2017, 2018, and 2019, those are the in-person concerts that we had. And so, of course, T-shirts are one of the big things. If you show up to the concert, there are T-shirts that are for sale. Those are fundraising shirts. And then there are T-shirts that are for free. Those are outreach T-shirts. And so come this Friday and you can buy some T-shirts to show your support, but you can also get some for free. And so more people, there'll be people demonstrating, sharing knowledge of traditional medicine. This 2019, the third Nalatla concert was the time when Joe Garrido, who's a strong supporter of Chamorro music and Chamorro language, he performed that year. Oh, there's a very young Pulan Speaks who was there. I think this was the year that he did a survey. He was doing a survey on decolonization attitudes at the concert. Oh, Strangers with Candy performed that year. And then also, Jonah Hunnam. That's right. Jonah Hunnam played with his siblings that year as well. And so let's listen to one more video before from an artist who performed sort of in the pre-pandemic concert series, si Primitiva Munya. And then we'll go into the pandemic years. And so at that time, Manny Cruz was a member of Independent Guåhan. He was a member of the Kulu and our media committee. And so, he would make great videos such as the Independent Sounds series. That one of them was the Times They Are Changing that we just watched, and another one was this one with War Machine to help promote Independent Guåhan, also promote the concerts. And so here, let's watch this one now, Primitiva with her song War Machine.
And I will perform an original song called War Machine. Please join us on July 4th for Independent Guåhan's Nalotla Songs of Freedom concert from 3 to 5 p.m. at the Adalu Complex. Situlas Maasi. You wanna drop your bombs into our sea, then you'll fire your guns into the trees and the Nazis. Our ancestors are crying out for us. We had enough of your war machine, your lying schemes and your perpetual greed. We're never giving up. All the people of the earth stand up and defend. Mother Earth had enough of your war machine, your lying schemes and your perpetual greed. We'll never give up. No, no, And what about the beings of the seas? Fish, dolphins, and whales are washing upon our shores. And that's not all, you know it. Oh, and what about the beings of the land? Mass extinction, genocide, and massive bloodshed, all caused by man. We had enough of your war machine, your lying schemes, and your perpetual greed. We're never giving up. All the people of the earth stand up and defend. Mother Earth had enough of your war machine, your lying schemes and your perpetual greed. We never give up. No, no, Sa guina at sa guini para Fanachu sa pagmatsat sa moru, pagmatsat sa tatanu sa matsui tempuni sadmen po kalimutado para iman mamailan at sampu ha debiri tahadahi modna ilinangat sa kahulutan satsu sa moru nuwita the tomu kahulu. We had enough of your war machine, your lying schemes and your perpetual greed. We're never giving up. All the people of the earth stand up and defend. Mother Earth had enough of your war machine, your lying schemes and your perpetual greed. We're never give up.
Uy, sedus masse primitiva. Biba, biba. Now, as I said, when the things changed, when the pandemic happened, in 2019, 2019 was the last concert in the Nalatla series that happened at the front field at Adaloop. It was not, however, the last Nalatla concert. And so in 2020, when the pandemic happened, Independent Guåhan made a decision that the concert should continue, but like so many things in life, it became virtual. It was moved into a virtual space. It was moved online, on air. And so what happened in 2020 is that the Nalatla series became a broadcast on Facebook, on YouTube, and most importantly on KUAM. And so what happened that year is that instead of putting everybody on stage for 3 hours, what we did is that people were invited to come in, or some people were recorded separately, or people elsewhere in the world recorded their pieces and submitted them. And then everybody came, and then KUAM put everything together and then put it online for us. And so I want to share now, because the Nalatla series, Nalatla Concert 4 and Nalatla Concert 5, which was a collaboration with Tardung Marianas, both of these were on air and online. And so I want to share real quick some highlights from 2020, which was Ermangesti. Okay. And Mangesti. Here we go. And so now, of course, having the concert be online on air, it came with new advantages, new bonuses. Guåhan Minauleknya. Low, of course, like anything, once it moves virtual, there's disadvantages, and you feel like you've lost something as well. So having it be virtual meant, for example, that more artists outside of Guam could participate, and because there's not the need to kind of break down the set, switch things up between acts, more people could be added in to the mix in order to play. We could have more, there could be so much more that could be added in, more poets. We also had the chance to add in more information into the show about Magat Tautau, historical leaders, community leaders, to inspire people. So there was, but you also lose something, because then, as opposed to getting hundreds of people to show up, maybe thousands of people watch, but maybe they're watching while they're doing something else, and you get the mixed attention. Who knows? But at least when you see this, though, like these highlights from the 2020 concert, one thing that you'll notice, though, is that there is the inclusion of more people, Ginin San Lago, outside of Guam. And so that is one of the highlights of the fact that the pandemic forced the concert to go online, is that it could become more inclusive in that way. Mas nihita ega.
Kada biyahe ang gangagihaw, gangaigi iugunaita, pues nihita tafanita nandi. Mongihaw, yeah, mongihaw, yeah. I don't know how you got into my life, but it's the best thing for me.
Tihu tungu afana pogo na dia Ulalala na problema siya Malamagi talufan yuli unsida Dabe kantusi dan hagu
Fact mark that, wake up, fact mark that. He's the one to save us. From polygon to polygon, through spiritual contact, our land's being stole, our businesses on contracts. Dear Americans, this is a raw fact. Your morals are the number one casualty of combat.
My body fell to peace
but my heart was never breached.
You showed me how to feel something other than defeat.
You went and played along.
I went and played my song.
Oh, give us back our land, 'cause it's all we have, all we have. We gotta gather our resources and strengthen our forces.
I asked why, and you scared me with a smile. You said nothing's gone right, and it hasn't for a while.
Strange as it seems, it was such a perfect view. And the last time I was happy. No matter where you're from, no matter where you've gone, and no matter what your trials or tribulation, and no matter what you've done, no matter what go on, gotta keep on keeping on, we'll keep on keeping on, forward, forward.
No matter what they say about you, don't let them doubt you. You can do it your own way, 'cause you are unique in your own ways. No matter what they say about you, don't.
Zaninagania Iman hobin Mango Tristi Nam piniti sa tita susihan Hanggang bagoyin Iminanggo.
Bibay, ishenentisya. Ay, gef pogod and buniktu adzu, hungyan. And so, as you saw, several artists who, would not be able to physically perform necessarily at a Nalatla concert were able to record something, submit a song, and it could fit into the program. And so it was one of the nice benefits of sort of the pandemic forcing things online. But as things after 2 years in 2020 and 2021 of concerts being online, it became difficult to sustain that. In 2022, there was discussion of should it be back to in-person? Are people ready to go back to in-person? But people were still mixed on that sort of thing. And then so we made a decision instead of doing a Nalatla concert, instead do Nalatla videos. And on a previous episode of Fanachu, I launched the Nalatla videos, Nalatla video series, and we did share those. And in fact, in 2023, we had sort of un Dikikina concert. We had a Nalatla small concert at Tom Home Bar and Grill. And at that concert, we shared teasers and clips and trailers for the videos, which became the Nalatla music video series, in which a number of artists such as Carlos Laguatnya, Zeni Haganya, Jeremy Cepeda, Pedro Blas, Veronica Cruz, in which artists were invited to perform a song, but also talk about, perform and record a song, and also talk about why they believed in independence or what was their message about independence and music. And so all of those you can watch on our YouTube, Independent Guåhan's YouTube page, and also they're available on our Instagram, our social media as well. And so for the last part here, I want to share some of the videos from that most recent concert that we had at Tom Hom Bar and Grill. And so let me just share this now. Nicole Quintanilla has been one of our most dedicated poets, who has performed many times over the years, from the very first Nalatla concert to the last, to several over the years. Online in 2023, performed again. We're going to watch the video of her performing one of her poems, and she will be back this year, this Friday, performing again for the Nalatla Freedom Fest. And so here is an excerpt of her reading one of her poems.
As a teacher, I often look out into an ocean of faces. On mornings when the tide is low, I can see hands rise like coral clusters jutting out of the water, hesitant and scarce, as if afraid to be scorched by the sun's rays, as if the sun had not already raised the temperature of their ecosystem. How are they to thrive in these conditions? When students are conditioned to calcify themselves into a 2x3 desk, notions of what nation they belong to coat their minds like thick layers of sediment, suffocating the knowledge that they are more than an American possession in my classroom. I want thoughts to swim through their minds like fish about what they wish this island could become. Open their eyes to what it means to decolonize. Imagine a future unpolluted by foreign power, where the plastic bags and soda cans of colonization can no longer cause contamination in their waters. I want ideas to ebb and flow like waves, from brains to paper to plans to progress. There is no progress without them. There is no Guåhan without them. Their voices will be heard for generations. They are the makers of nations, the caretakers of our islands, past and present and future. These students hold all the power. They are this island's protectors. Together, they will build a community, defend our people against tsunamis that threaten our democracy, grow into a reef of leaders and dreamers, determine a future they see for themselves that tells the world that Guåhan is here to stay. They will surround this island vibrant and vast and unyielding. And it is our job to ensure our corals are thriving. Thank you.
Biba. Whew. And for these Nalatla concerts, one of the things that we always try to do, and because, there'll always be events connected to decolonization, political status, that'll have speeches. We always try, at least for the concerts, to have very few speeches, but instead fill the gaps with poets, like Nicole, who can kind of, like she did right there, they bring the issue of decolonization to us in a very dramatic and very different way. And one of the last things that I want to share, is this was put together by Don Munya. It's also from the last Nalatla gathering in 2023. This is sort of like a highlight reel. It includes some video, but also some images from that gathering. And so this will be one of the last things that I share for this episode. Thank you for joining me, by the way, Hungan. So Nita Ega.
The reason for this work that we do, Ibalinya Estates at Sotanay, is because the future of our island. As we look around, as we follow social media, as you check your WhatsApp to see what the hell is going on this island nowadays, we see there's so many issues and so many problems, and we see lots of people complaining about it, lots of people pointing fingers. But one of the things that we like to note with Independent Guåhan is that we are all about getting to the root of these problems.
Relieve yourself from the hate, don't participate with these evil greedy people using money for bait. Why? Don't hesitate to create
Inventions of ideas, that is great. Meditate to know you're in the right place. Have some faith and don't you be too late. Fight for your race and not to be displaced. True freedom I can taste. Me feeling a tender bass. Right place and we're feeling great, feeling great.
Assign is a whole lot to get a hog with sentiment. Under the Guåhan we see like web. Send Mac gas like a Janitano. Imanaanok Janiti Manaanok. Naming a Juni Milak Mujanat Sweet in Ireland, it's well. About the Juni Milak Mujanoi to Numin that Karimin and Halamzani Nats and now from Halt and it's so Pogo. Assign is a whole need I moss. Yeffinui, Hillary Dano, Kulolonia Minota, Natiman Matungo.
For blush on my cheeks, for color on my lips, and the pow-pow floors from across the street. For my curls need not go plain, for my scent is best when of the land. And lastly, adorn me. Adorn me with the finest island jewels and gems you can find. Hema, spondylis, a leeling, carved and polished with hours of toil, like it came from the
Uncle Fontaine can keep still. Maybe we hike to check on the change. You run the whole span of the world on this island. You feel as if you're walking in place on a treadmill, but his back is expanding, kicking down metal fence after metal fence. This land was once all free to run up, down, through, around, and back again.
Sempre utungo isinenteko. Sempre utungo hoguragi halam kuna sono.
Grow into a reef of leaders and dreamers determine a future they see for themselves that tells the world that Guåhan is here to stay. They will surround this island vibrant and vast and unyielding. And it is our job to ensure our corals
Guai za igwe naiza. Guai za igwe naiza. Gos mame si pamagun dan igwe naiza ni tanadana. Isamoro. Viva! Viva Guåhan! Viva Independent Guåhan!
Iba! Oi. Hungan. And so, si Diyos masi, duhamzo todos. Put in guest in episode. Malago na benahasu hamzu. I just want to send out a reminder for everyone. This Friday, Nalatla Freedom Fest. July 4th, 3 to 7:30 p.m. at The Lime. This is a free, family-friendly concert. It'll have music, it'll have poetry, live art, there will be food, and there will be local vendors. Come if you want to learn more about why our island should change its political status, and if you want to learn about why some of us feel that independence would be the best option for it to become. For our families, for our island, para ifamagonta dyan ifamagoniha lokui motna. And so this has been a trip down Nalatla concert memory lane. We have kind of talked about the origins of the concert and how it's evolved over the years. And it's for me personally, it's been nice to kind of reflect and then also think about how as Independent Guåhan gets closer to the 10th year of its advocacy, the 10th year that it's been doing this, sometimes it's easy to think about how things haven't changed or how things remain the same. But at the same time, though, as I look back on this, I can also point to how things have changed and things have moved. How we can point to where change needs to take place. We can look at where we might still, where there's work that still needs to be done, Hungan Syempre. But we can also look and see that more than ever, people, kololonya manhoban, are interested and open to ideas of changing our political status. The question, though, is, are we going to push? Are we going to take this conversation around decolonization seriously? And that is something that we as an island have to look at. And so if you want to join the decolonization conversation, if you even want to just get started listening, talking, engaging with others, por favor, Nita Fandanya Giestina Betnes, come this Friday, Nalatla Freedom Fest. And no haparestin episode Fanachu. Si Diyos masino hamsa todos, adios. Este aquí, manatli